I want to ask you something honestly. Why is that when a man leaves a child behind, people move on? But when a woman raises that child alone, society calls her my sabit. Why is a human life suddenly called baggage? So now, I want to talk about something many people whisper but rarely confront, which is the truth about single mothers. Because enough is enough. A child is not a baggage. A mother is not a failure. And it's time society starts respecting the women who carry responsibilities most people cannot even imagine. I saw the sign. Before anything else, I want to say something clearly. I am a mother. Yes, I happen to be a single mother, but that is not the identity that defines my entire existence. My life does not revolve around the absence of a man. Okay? My life revolves around the presence of my child. We are talking about this now because in many societies, especially in our culture, people like to reduce a woman with a child to one phrase, which is may sabit ka. And for those who are not Filipino, that phrase literally means you have a baggage. And imagine that, a human being, a child, a life that came into the world, reduced to the word baggage. And this is something I want to challenge today. Because I have friends who are single mothers and believes that they are carrying a baggage. And it speaks that to life. No. So I want to start this with a simple question, that why is that when a relationship fails, the woman carries the shame? Two people created that situation. Two people were part of that story. But when the relationship ends and the child remains, suddenly society points its finger at the woman. She becomes a topic of the gossip. Okay? She becomes the subject of judgment. She becomes the warning story people tell their daughters. But the man, many times he simply disappears into the background of the narrative. And this imbalance is something we rarely talk about honestly. Being a single mother is not a symbol of failure, okay? Sometimes it is actually period. What happened? The air, the wind stopping me to say that? Why? Why wind? Nobody can stop me. Being a single mother is a symbol of strength, okay? Because staying in the wrong relationship can destroy a child's environment. Walking away from a toxic or irresponsible partner is not weakness, okay? It is the most responsible decision a mother can make. But society rarely acknowledges that complexity. Instead, it simplifies the story to something cruel. Oh, she's a single mom. Single mom, by the way. Single mom, by the way. As if that one sentence explains everything about a person's life. As if a woman's value suddenly becomes smaller because She chose to take responsibility for a child. And let's talk about responsibility for a moment. Being a parent itself takes a lot. You carry everything. You carry everything for your child. But imagine carrying everything alone. Emotional, financial, mental, physical responsibility alone. And people would say that it's not my decision, it's your decision to be a mother. But it's just that every single day there is no break from being a parent, and there is no day off from caring about your child's future. And yet many single mothers are doing this without support. Okay? No support from the father. Very little support from the society, and there are even countries that does not formulate laws or policies that protects single mother nor support them. That is the point of responsibility I am talking about. It's like, why are single mother being shamed of being a single mom by a society that does not support them? It's just crazy to me. And then you add these people that says, well, that's your choice. It's your choice to be a mother. It's very disrespectful. Yes, it is our choice. It's my choice to be a mother, and I am happy about that. But it does not give you the title, nor it is not your responsibility to disrespect mothers. It is not in your hand to say so. You literally came from a woman. I really don't want this video to keep pausing, but the nature keeps stopping me. Anyway, this is something people can reflect on. Every single person watching this video, every single human being on this planet entered the world through a mother. Motherhood is the foundation of human existence. Without mothers, there is no society, there is no future, there is no civilization. So, when society shames mothers, it is actually shaming the very source of life itself. Now, let me also clarify something, because this conversation is not about attacking men. A good man is not a liability, if there is one. A good man is a partner, a protector, a builder, if there is one. But we also have to acknowledge a reality that the wrong man can become a very heavy burden. And not just, for being a partner in life, but in society. You choose the wrong president, the whole world goes to war. You know what I mean? And sometimes single mothers exist because a woman made the difficult decision to stop tolerating the wrong man. That decision can be painful. It can be lonely to them. It can also be the beginning of healthier environment for a child. I also want to speak directly to the single mothers watching this, because many of you, you know exactly what I am talking about. You know what it feels like to be judged, to be excluded. You know what it feels like to walk into a room and feel people making assumptions about your life. You know what it feels like to carry responsibilities that other people don't even see. But I want you to hear this clearly. Your story is not something to be ashamed of. Your strength is not something to hide. If anything, it is something to respect. Because you choose responsibility when it would have been easier to run away. You choose courage when life became difficult. And you choose love for your child, even when the world was not always kind to you. We also need to challenge the language of the society, the language we use in the society, because words shape perception and perception shapes reality. So when people say, "may sabit ka," they are not just describing a situation. They are framing a child as a burden, and that is dangerous. Children should never grow up hearing that their existence is something shameful. Children deserve dignity. Say it to yourself, my child deserves dignity. Children deserve to know that they were welcomed into the world with love, with your love. And maybe the deeper issue here is that society still struggles with the idea of independent woman, right? Because imagine this, for centuries, women were expected to rely completely on men for survival. But the world is changing. Women are building careers. Women are leading communities. Women are raising families and standing on their own feet. And sometimes that independence makes certain people uncomfortable. Independence should not be something to fear. It is something to respect. Let me also say this honestly. Being a single mother is not easy. Okay, it's not always glamorous. It is not even also a social trend. It is a real life. It involves a lot of sacrifices, exhaustion of a mother, and even moments of doubt. What's beautiful is it involves incredible strength, power. Now is the time. Now is the time for the society to shift their perspective. Instead of asking, why is she a single mother? Maybe we should ask, what strength did it take for her to raise a child on her own? Right? Instead of judgment, we should have curiosity. Instead of shame, we should have empathy. And instead of gossiping, we should have respect. Because at the end of the day, motherhood is not defined by marital status. Motherhood is defined by love, responsibility, nourishment, and commitment. A mother who shows up every day for her child is already fulfilling one of the most important roles in society, and that deserves recognition, not ridicule. So, if you are a single mother watching this video, I want you to remember something. Your life is not something to be ashamed of. Your life story is not a limitation. It is a testimony of resilience. And your child is not a baggage. Your child is a human being with a future you are helping to build every single day. And to everyone else watching this video, let's start treating mothers with the dignity they deserve. Let's stop reducing women's lives to gossip and judgment and assumptions. And let's start building a culture where responsibility is respected. Because when we support mothers, we support the next generation of humanity. Enough is enough. The time for shame is over. When we talk about philosophy and theology, before society built governments and before it built institutions, before it built laws, humanity was already built on the shoulders of mothers. And there is something deeper about motherhood that many modern societies seem to have forgotten. Let's look back to the ancient civilizations. Motherhood was not treated something as shameful or secondary. It was treated as something divine, sacred. And in many ancient cultures, the origin of life itself was understood through the image of the mother. For example, in ancient Egypt, the goddess Isis, she was revered not as a powerful deity, but also as a mother, a divine mother. She represented protection, creation, and the power of life itself. In Mesopotamia mythology, there was Tiamat. Tiamat is a primordial mother figure associated with the origin of the cosmos. And in Greek philosophy, in myth, we encounter Gaia, the earth itself. It understood that the mother of all living beings is Gaia. These ancient civilizations, they understood something profound, which creation begins with the mother, and life enters the world through a mother's body. Okay? The earliest human imagination saw the universe itself as something that was born, not manufactured, not assembled, but brought forth like a child. And even in Christian theology, this idea appears in a very powerful way through Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. Mary is not remembered because she ruled kingdoms or built empires. She is remembered because she said yes to bringing life into the world. Even when that decision became difficult. Motherhood in theology is therefore not a weakness. It is an act of cooperation with creation itself. A mother participates in something that philosophers sometimes call the continuation of being. Because through mothers, humanity continues. Okay? Through mothers, generations move forward. And through mothers, life refuses to disappear. So when society mocks or shames mothers, especially single mothers, it is forgetting something ancient civilizations understood. And they understood it very well. Motherhood is not something to ridicule. It is one of the most fundamental creative forces in human existence. So, actually, the next time you hear someone say, "my sabit," or you have a baggage, ask yourself honestly, if your own mother raised you alone, would you call yourself baggage? Exactly. Let's wrap it up, and I hope you learned something today. I hope this video will bring something fruitful to discuss and ponder. Thank you for listening. Till next time.